What is up here, YouTube? Jigsaw0097 here today. Just taking a drive here, and I've just been thinking about a couple things. I made a video yesterday about how I still believe in this team and how I think that the Eagles fan base should believe in this team as well. And so this video is just going to be kind of a video about what I think that the Eagles need to do to win their first playoff game. Now, we don't know who the opponent is yet. It could be the Panthers, the Falcons, or the Saints is what they're saying. It can't be the Rams or the Vikings because they're too high in the seeding. But, yeah, it's going to be one of those three teams. And basically, I'm not going to be able to, tell you how they win those specific teams. I'm just going to be giving a general idea of what they would have to do, how they could play to their strengths and win this game. So, first of all, it goes to the defense, obviously. The defense, guys, has only allowed 16 points in the last two games, which is something a lot of people have been overlooking just because of how bad Nick Foles has been playing. So you got to keep that in mind, okay? Dallas, they only allowed them 2 field goals, and Oakland, after that huge touchdown pass to Amari Cooper, they were pretty much stopped after that. So that was great. You know, Jalen Mills gave that one up, but it's like they locked that down as soon as that happened. So honestly, if you look at the Eagles right now, they would only realistically have to score about, on average, 16 to 20 points to win a game if this defense keeps up the way it has been. But that probably won't happen against a playoff team. I'm guessing the Eagles can win games by about 24 points if this defense stays. If they can hold teams under 20 points, I mean, you can win the games by 20 to 24. So the defense really is the biggest key, guys, now. The defense has to step up. And I know a lot of people have already talked about that, and I've got some other things as well. So Nick Foles, we know he's been playing like trash, but I was thinking about it. You know, Nick Foles doesn't have to be Carson Wentz. All he needs to be is a game manager. And really, this will fall more on Doug Peterson than Nick Foles, because it's going to come down to how he play calls the offense. I think he needs to get back 100% to running the ball. He needs to be committed to running the ball, similar to the Chargers game. You know, I want to see 80% running and a few key throws on third down or something like that where you need it. Or a throw when you've been running it and you just do a really long one when they're not expecting it and it gets 40, 60 yards. That's the kind of throws I want to see. I don't want to see these check downs anymore, these quick slants to Zach Ertz, because Nick Foles, all he knows really how to do is find Zach Ertz. He doesn't really know how to take the reads like Carson Wentz did. Carson Wentz, he would move the ball around, which I loved. You know, he'd get it to Alshon Jeffrey, he'd get it to Nelson Agholor, Zach Ertz, Brent Selleck, all these guys, he would get them involved. Trey Burton, he'd throw touchdown passes to Trey Burton. So Nick Foles is not that. He doesn't have the mental speed that Carson Wentz has to see these players. So you really need to work to your strength here and run the ball. Jay Ajayi should be this running back by committee thing should be slowed down as well. I think Jay Ajayi should be the number one rusher. You should be just pounding him through the defenses. Use LeGarrette Blount on goal line situations, and that's it. And then use Corey Clement for screen passes or maybe some outside sweeps or outside runs. Stuff like that, because Corey Clement, he's the fast guy on the really, really fast guy on the running backs. And then, Kenyon Barner, I wouldn't really use him at all, honestly. Just use him for punt returns. So, yeah, on offense, that's what Nick Foles needs to be, guys. He needs to be a game manager. They need to just really figure this out. And I know I did read some things where Doug Peterson has actually gone back to the 2013 tape when Nick Foles was in the playoffs with Chip Kelly against the Saints, and he's using that to kind of figure it out. Because if you remember that game, guys, we basically had won that game until the very end. There was 2 reasons we lost. The very end, Kerry Williams got a horse collar that gave him the whole field back. And then also Riley Cooper dropped that pass. And I remember, I watched the tape recently. I couldn't remember how bad that was. But literally, man, Nick Foles threw that right in his hands and he dropped it. So that was just ridiculous. And, you know, Torrey Smith is like that guy now, which is what I'm getting into next. Torrey Smith is the new Riley Cooper, guys. He will show up every now and then, but when you need him, he will not catch the ball. I think he's only had like a couple touchdowns this year. The only one I can really remember is against the Cardinals, which was like, that game was a blowout anyway. So what I would do if I was Doug Peterson, I would really look at this offensive roster. I would think about taking Torrey Smith out or using him in a minor role to put Mac Hollins in. Because Mac Hollins, he is a rookie, but right now I just feel like you have a better chance using that guy than you do with Torrey Smith. Because Torrey Smith, he's really fast, he can spread the field, but the dude has been proven that he's like a 50-50 chance to catch the ball. And something I've noticed about Nick Foles, if bad things go on, like penalties or drops or things like that, Nick Foles shuts down, man. It's like he'll lose his momentum like that. You can have him going like the Dallas game showed it perfectly when Torrey Smith dropped it. He was just boom, boom, boom down the field, and then Torrey Smith dropped it, and he looked putrid the rest of the time he was in, and he ended his time throwing an interception. So that's something you got to do for Nick Foles, because you can tell he's lacking a little bit of confidence out there. He's rusty, man. He hasn't actually started for a team since like 2015 or something, 2014 when he played for the Rams. I can't remember. I think it was 2015 he played for the Rams for a couple games. That was like the last time he started, guys. So he's really rusty out there. You got to work to his strengths, and you got to, if you're going to throw it, you got to have guys that are going to catch. I mean, Nelson Aguilar, he's proven that he's extremely reliable this season. Alshon Jeffrey, if you can get the ball to him. And then Zach Ertz, obviously. But something that this team really lacks right now, I've noticed, is playmakers. We don't have the LaShawn McCoys or the Deshaun Jacksons of the past, which is another reason why Nick Foles looked so great back in 2013. And I even said it. When they traded Deshaun Jackson, I said that was going to affect Nick Foles, and it sure as heck did, because when you have guys like that, I mean, any quarterback can be good. Imagine what Carson Wentz would look like if he had LaShawn McCoy. That we would freaking blow teams out all the time if we had those guys still. So the Eagles, that's something they're going to have to address in the future, obviously. Right now, they don't really have playmakers. I would never consider Alshon Jeffrey a playmaker. He's just a veteran. He has that experience, which is why they signed him. He is a very good receiver because he can do the 50-50 ball. He's kind of like a Calvin Johnson is what I'd compare him to, a little bit a lesser Calvin Johnson. But he's not a playmaker like Julio Jones or A.J. Green or, like I said, Deshaun Jackson. So you got to work that too. You got to realize you don't have these playmakers with Nick Foles anymore. So really the run game has to get going. And really that's my biggest takeaways that I wanted to talk about. Sorry, this video went on a lot longer than I thought it would, but I wanted to just get this out there so that you guys can have a little bit of hope. Because I know everyone is thinking it's doom and gloom right now in Philadelphia that we can't win a playoff game. But we really can if you look at it. It's all going to come down to play calling and execution. And I think that they execute fine for the most part. It's just Doug Peterson can't go in there with these stupid, let's throw the ball 3 times a drive plays. So yeah, that's my keys to victory, guys. What do you think about the video? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I left anything out? I was going to go into special teams, but I feel like we don't really need to. The Eagles have one of the best special teams in the league. So it's really just defense. You know, I guess going into defense, the one thing that they really need to clean up is they need to clean up the double move. Where they get fried, you know. That's usually how touchdowns happen with this defense, is they get a double move on them. Because I know Jim Shorts, he likes to play, he almost plays like a prevent defense constantly, but not like fully committed. But he goes pass rush heavy, which is something I always wanted. Back in the Chip Kelly days, I always wanted Chip Kelly to be more aggressive that way, but yeah, that's one thing they could clean up, guys. But anyway, like the video if you liked it. Dislike it if you didn't. Whatever you want. Also, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Eagles videos in the future. I appreciate all the subscribers and support I can get on here. And as always, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching the video. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. Let's see what happens in this first playoff game. I will talk to you guys all later.